Frizz, breakage, or split ends? Meet your match. The K18 Molecular Repair Hair Mask delivers real, lasting repair. Its patented K18 peptide reverses damage on the molecular level, leaving hair soft, strong, and bouncy in just 4 minutes. So that damage that's been stressing you out, you'll see it disappear after just one use of the mask. Shop at Sephora or get 10% off your first purchase with code SPOTIFY at K18hair.com.
We gather here tonight to bring women back to their rightful place.
The Testaments, a new Hulu original series from the executive producers of The Handmaid's Tale.
It's easier to accept a story than believe that the people around you are monsters.
The battle isn't over.
There comes a time when you have to take action, when you have to choose your own destiny.
Never quite as it seems.
Watch the new Hulu original series, The Testaments, streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Welcome back to Haunted America, the show where we explore the mysteries, the legends, and the dark corners of America's past. I'm your host, and tonight we're traveling to one of the most infamous locations in UFO history. A place where the official explanation never quite lined up with what people saw, heard, and even held in their own hands. Tonight, we're talking about aliens and Roswell, New Mexico. Before we get into this episode, if you guys have any ideas for future episodes, haunted locations, artifacts, or have your own story that you would like shared on the podcast, you can email us at hauntedamericapodcast@gmail.com. Now, let's talk some Roswell, New Mexico. The story begins in the summer of 1947. Roswell. It was a quiet desert town, home to ranchers, cowboys, and the Roswell Army Airfield, which housed the 509th Bomb Group, the only atomic bomb-equipped squadron in the world at the time. Everything changed on July 8, 1947, when the Roswell Army Airfield released a statement that shocked the nation. They said they had recovered a flying disc. Yes, the United States military officially stated they had retrieved a flying saucer. But let's rewind a little bit. A few days earlier, a rancher named Mac Brazel, who lived about 75 miles northwest of Roswell, discovered strange debris scattered across his ranch. The pieces didn't resemble wood, metal, rubber, or anything familiar. Witnesses later described the material as paper-thin but impossible to tear, metallic but weightless, able to crumble but then snap back to its original shape. Later called memory metal, this bizarre material became the centerpiece of the mystery. Brazel gathered some of the debris and brought it to the local sheriff. They contacted the Roswell Army Airfield, and soon the government stepped in. Mayor Jesse, I'm probably going to butcher this last name here, Marcel, the intelligence officer on duty, personally visited the crash site. Marcel later said publicly that the debris he had handled was not anything made on this earth. And then the press release went out. The military confirmed that they had recovered a flying disc. It made national headlines within hours. But only 24 hours later, the military issued a new statement, covering shit up like they always do. Anyways, what they recovered wasn't a flying saucer. It was a weather balloon. Surprise, surprise, right? The famous Roswell UFO crash story, according to the government, was nothing more than a simple misunderstanding. But the people who were there, they didn't buy it. Alright, before we dive back into tonight's haunted tale, I've got to tell you something that actually keeps me going through all these late night investigations. and that's Dubby Energy. Look, when you're up at 2 a.m. reviewing EVP recordings or scrolling through ghost footage, the last thing you need is a sugar crash or shaky hands. Dubby gives you clean, focused energy. No jitters, no crash, and definitely no creepy side effects. It's packed with natural caffeine, vitamins, and nootropics. Everything you need to stay alert when the shadows start to move. And if you want to try it yourself, here's a little treat. Or maybe a trick. Head to dubby.gg. Use the code HAUNT10 at checkout to save 10% on your order. That's HAUNT10 to get 10% off and keep your energy level higher than your EMF readings. Dubby Energy. Fuel your focus and maybe your next ghost hunt. Let's talk about what happened after the military changed its story. Witnesses reported soldiers arriving at ranches in unmarked vehicles. Locals threatened to stay silent. Entire truckloads of debris removed from the crash site. Replacements brought in, material that did not look like a weather balloon. Mayor Jesse himself later stated the weather balloon explanation was a cover story. It was not a weather balloon. Jesse claimed he was ordered to keep quiet. Nurses and morticians at the Roswell Army Hospital reported being told not to speak to anyone, with threats of losing their jobs, or worse. One mortician, Glenn Dennis, later testified that a nurse friend described seeing small bodies in the base hospital. She said they were child-sized with enlarged heads, dark eyes, and long, thin limbs. She vanished shortly after. Was she relocated? Silenced? Or was it all part of a mass misunderstanding? That's still debated today.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs, so you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For decades, Roswell remained an unanswered question, until 1994 when the Air Force released a report claiming the crash had been part of Project Mogul, a top-secret program that used high-altitude balloons to spy on Soviet nuclear activity. And yes, Mogul was real. But here's the problem. The wreckage people described didn't match balloons. Not in size, not in appearance, and definitely not in material. Even high-ranking military personnel like Marcel rejected the balloon explanation until the day they had died. And then there's the eyewitness testimony from ranchers who saw the crash site before soldiers arrived. Many described a large impact trench, a primary crash site with a disc-shaped craft, strange symbols on pieces of metal, a second separate site miles away. There were even rumors of bodies being discovered and recovered. One witness, a young boy named Gerald Anderson, claimed he saw an injured alien being tended to by military personnel. His story remained consistent even into his adulthood. But as always, there's another side. Some historians note that eyewitness testimonies decades after the event can become unreliable. Memory blends with rumor, and stories grow with time. Still, hundreds of people have come forward, all telling the same thing. Something crashed that night in Roswell, and it sure as hell was not a balloon. The Freedom of Information Act requests have turned up thousands of pages related to UFOs, many from around the time of the Roswell incident. Some pages are heavily redacted, of course, some refer to unidentified aerial phenomena, and some detail crash retrieval procedures. None, however, directly admit to extraterrestrial involvement. But one strange document, the Majestic 12 Papers, surfaced in the 1980s. These documents allegedly describe a secret government group assigned to recover alien technology and bodies, including that day at Roswell. The government claims they're hoaxes, but forensic I'm just going to leave this blooper in here. But forensic experts who claim the paper... Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to start over there. The government claims they're hoaxes, but forensic experts who examined the paper... There we go, buddy. Ink and typing say the documents are consistent with 1940 era materials. Coincidence? I think not. Fabrication? Or the truth accidentally leaked. If you go to Roswell today, you'll find a town that fully embraces its mysterious past. And side note here, I'm going off my script. Me and my stepdad, Jess, when I moved him to Arizona, we stopped at Roswell, New Mexico. This place, the streetlights. Imagine a small-ish, right, desert town. Old-timey, like, street lamp posts, right, up and down the sidewalks. Their streetlights are alien heads. They fully embrace this. There's a Dunkin', you can Google it. There is a Dunkin' Donuts sign, and it's an alien holding up the Dunkin' Donuts logo. Their McDonald's is a UFO. They embrace the crap out of it. It's awesome. And what I'm about to talk about here, me and him also visited. There's the International UFO Museum and Research Center. We went to that. Alien murals, themed diners, and an annual UFO festival that draws thousands from around the world. But beneath the fun and neon green alien heads, the mystery remains. Why did the Army airfield first claim they had a flying disc? Why deny it the next day? Why threaten witnesses? Why classify documents that remain sealed even in 2026? Why do so many people, pilots, intelligence officers, nurses, ranchers, morticians, children who grew up, why do they still insist that what they saw wasn't from this earth? So what really happened in Roswell? Here are the possibilities, right? A top secret military craft crashed, and the UFO story was used to hide U.S. technology, right? Possibility number 2. Project Mogul debris was mistaken for something alien, and the military clumsily corrected the story. 3. An actual extraterrestrial aircraft had crashed on U.S. soil, and the U.S. government did their best to cover it up. Possibility number 4. A mix of truth and panic. Something unusual crashed, and the public filled in the blanks. The real truth, though, it may still be locked in classified archives somewhere in Washington. But one thing is undeniable. Roswell changed how the world views UFOs. It sparked the modern era of alien sightings, government secrecy theories, and the belief that we may not be alone. And maybe, just maybe, someone out there knows exactly what the hell fell from that sky in 1947. This has been Haunted America. If you enjoyed tonight's journey into the desert, be sure to follow, leave a review, and stay tuned for our next episode, where another mystery waits in the shadows. Until then, keep your eyes on the sky. You never know what might be watching us back. Could be aliens. Who knows?